Hey guys, I wanted to do my walk away video because what happened to me should never happen to anyone ever. I basically had my wealth stolen. I became a victim of identity theft and also of telemarketing scams. And when I went to go dispute a bunch of charges, the credit card companies violated numerous, like hundreds of consumer rights violations. And a year and a half after I started disputing these charges, somebody stopped in front of my home here in Las Vegas and took 16 shots at me and my daughter. And I went through PTSD and and then I went through I was going through identity theft, and the credit card companies were not protecting me. They were not doing their fiduciary responsibilities. They were not researching anything. I was doing all the research for my disputes, and they were denying me and denying my chargebacks. And so then it turned into, they became, then they started coming after me because I refused to pay for these charges. So then they started sending attorneys after me and extorting me for thousands of dollars that I refused to pay because I got nothing. I didn't benefit from any of these charges. And they held my credit hostage. Okay, so that's called paper terrorism. When they send you into collections and all this other stuff and start hitting you with all these documented threats, that's called paper terrorism. Okay, I learned a lot about this stuff, and I'm now filing, I have 7 lawsuits in federal court against these corrupt banking systems, credit card companies. And okay, so because I started to do an online business, I learned a lot about algorithms. I learned a lot about keywords, and I learned about how to get organic traffic. And so when you put a bunch of things in the search engine, it automatically brings up all these different results. And so I started learning about that, and all this information started coming to me. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe the things that were coming to me. Things about how we all know the Federal Reserve is not part of the government. It's a privately owned company. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is owned by the Federal Reserve, okay? The banks are owned by the Federal Reserve. And so what I found out is that the consumer rights entity that's supposed to be protecting us is owned by the same people. Okay, so they're doing oversight on themselves. And I was wondering why, whenever I got a check back, it was like for thousands of dollars that was stolen from me, I'd get a $25 check. And then I'd go on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who was, by the way, headed by Pocahontas, that bitch. They were like giving themselves $5 million bonuses, literally. And this is all part of the corrupt, democratic bullshit lies that they try to make you believe, okay? That they're working for you, that they're there for you. This is where you go. You call up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and you file a complaint against any one of the banks or credit card companies. They will do nothing for the individual. And I started contacting Arizona Attorney General's office, and they weren't going to do nothing. I'm small potatoes. And I was calling up. I literally had the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau guy on the phone, and he asked me, do I need to call suicide prevention? Because I was so mad and crying and going, what the fudge good are you guys? Why am I paying for you guys? Are my tax dollars paying? And they said, well, ma'am, we get paid by the Federal Reserve. So the banks are doing oversight on themselves, okay? And the more I started realizing who was at the top of these food chains, I realized that my kid is going to have nothing of my wealth to be passed down to her. And I heard Trump say he's going to get rid of the inheritance taxes and all these others. He was going to do all this stuff. And that was the day I learned that he was one of us, and that I was no longer going to sit back. And even people in my family, like with MS-13, I'm like going, so let me ask you, Auntie, is it okay if these people come into our country and they happen to get a hold and lynch one of your nieces and nephews, chop them up? Are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay with them taking the last $10 I have in my bank account and giving it away to illegal immigrants? Okay, there's a lot. I can do this video for an hour and a half, but the bottom line is that when I started doing my research on because I knew what was happening to me could not be legal. There's just no way. And when I started doing research and realizing that the Democratic Party were sitting at the top and running all these top entities that are supposedly government run, and they're not even run by the government, they're privately owned, then I was thinking, and they're giving themselves $5 million bonuses to boot. I was like, wow, man, this is bull. And so I'm also releasing a pro se system to help people get their money back from scams and help fight corrupt debt collectors and these god-awful creditors that make you so in debt for student loans. Not only that, but I was able to, thank God, pay off my house in 9 months. I saved myself almost $200,000 by paying off my house in 9 months. Okay, that's some bullshit. I bought a $115,000 home. It would have been almost $300,000 by the time I paid it off. Okay, that's more than twice of the value of my home. And the wheels just started turning. I'm like going, wow, man. That and the Treasury Direct account that is attached to everybody's Social Security card, there's billions of dollars that they've set up. And all you have to do is get a UCC and become a secured creditor, and then you have access to that. Oh, they're freaking out about that one too. That's another one to Google or pull up YouTube. TDA account April to June. Okay, learn some shit about that. That's going to be another one that's going to make people pissed off. Oh man, because they have, and that's part of your Social Security now, your Social Security money. Okay, but they took that, and instead of putting it, and they took that money that they've been skimming off of us and putting it into a high yielding account that yields high interest, and they're taking that. And guess what? Like when my brother passed away, they kept that money. Okay? It doesn't go to any, they make themselves the beneficiary. There's so much shit in this government, and we as people have got to educate ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that It's astounding the shit they're getting away with and how they're robbing us blind every single day of our lives and stealing the wealth of middle class Americans. And thank God for President Trump. I pray every day. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been drinking, 13, 14 years. And I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to a higher power because I was like the worst kind of alcoholic. It's not good. And I am so grateful because I have more courage. I have more than I ever thought I would ever have. I used to think I was the weakest person in the world. Now, after all the crap I've gone through, I go, wow, you know what? I am not a weak person. I'm an incredibly strong woman. And it just takes a little bit of education, a little open-mindedness, hope, willingness, and to be willing, to be teachable still. I can't tell you how important that is. And so that's my walk-away moment. That's about it. The time is now. Make that decision. You have to decide. It's crunch time. Are we going to allow them to keep doing this to everybody? Because I'm not special. You're not special. They're doing it to everyone they can possibly do it to. And if they even think you're a little bit of a deplorable, or you're going to throw a wrench into their cushy little situation, think again. And the people that are on the low on the totem pole that are fighting to help these people, when we're all gone, they'll be next. And they don't even realize that. So, all right. That's my walk away. It's crunch time, people. 4 days, 3 days. We got to vote them out. Out. Goodbye. Get rid of them. Exterminate them. That's what they're trying to do to us. That's what they're trying to do. That's it.